I'm Kelsey Zeiser with Light Reading for OrbTV, and we're here at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and I'm joined by Shrikant Shenwai with the Wireless Broadband Alliance. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So tell us a little bit about some of your key goals for the WBA for 2018.
Yeah, sure. So as you know, WBA has been championing the role of Wi-Fi, especially the carrier Wi-Fi or service provider Wi-Fi. So for this year, there are three particular focus areas we have, or priorities we have. One is around the role of Wi-Fi in 5G and what it would mean, including in terms of standards, use cases, and business impact. The second is around the Wi-Fi in the enterprise space and the wireless space in general, but more for enterprise. And the third is in-home Wi-Fi. So these are the three areas that we have decided to focus and prioritize and get some interesting work done this year.
That makes sense. And so what impact will 5G have on Wi-Fi networks, and what role does Wi-Fi play in developing LTE and also future wireless services?
It's an interesting question. In fact, it could be looked at other way around as well. What impact Wi-Fi will have on the way 5G will evolve,
right?
As well. And in fact, that's what we are seeing. There's lots of things that Wi-Fi has traditionally supported that we are seeing now in 5G standards, the way it's been defined. So we're looking at lots of interesting concepts, including slicing, for example, or neutral host capabilities, the need to support densification. Now, these are the areas where Wi-Fi traditionally has excelled, and we see a role of Wi-Fi as one of the access technologies as part of the 5G architecture to support these requirements going forward as well.
Mm-hmm. And what would be some of the most important services or business opportunities and use cases for Wi-Fi and 5G deployments?
So as I just mentioned, there are things like densification, for example. Wi-Fi has traditionally been deployed in a whole lot of environments, whether these are stadiums or large footfall venues. Going forward, we'll continue to see the densification-oriented use cases being supported by Wi-Fi on its own, but also in terms of its role within the 5G architecture and 5G era, for that matter.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And how do partnerships play a role in the advancement of smart cities, for example?
It does, and again, a lot of cities are looking at the role of all these different technologies and how they support their smart city vision. And as we know, no single technology can do it all, especially when you're trying to support requirements which are from connecting people to connecting things. So clearly, Wi-Fi has always been looked at by cities in many ways, but as they move towards 5G, again, they are looking at what role Wi-Fi will play as part of that to support, again, things like whether it's densification or IoT requirements or other use cases for extreme broadband, for instance.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the challenges that operators are facing in addressing smart cities and maybe approaching local officials about connectivity, for example?
Well, smart city is a moving train where there's lots of unknowns, as I call them. And in fact, that makes it somewhat difficult for the cities as well as their partners, including carriers, to really have clearly defined rules by which they engage with each other. Mm-hmm. And these are very critical because if you're looking at deployment of networks within cities, the cities have access to lots of real estate, lots of street furniture, mm-hmm. Places like the street light lamppost. And those are the locations, exact locations where the network deployment, in fact, is essential for smart city to be to see its vision being realized, and also for carriers to support their requirements in terms of densification today, IoT requirements today, but also increasing the 5G era. So those are the areas where how do you then create right sort of collaboration models? Okay. How do you create right sort of mechanisms for these partnerships to happen? Those are the challenges, but those are the areas that we, through the work that we do on the Connectivity Advisory Board, mm-hmm. CCAB of WBA, we are trying to address.
Okay, that makes sense. And anything else that you wanted to touch on as far as the main focus for the WBA at this year's show?
Sure. So there are a couple of things maybe worth highlighting. Mm-hmm. Wi-Fi standard also has been evolving independent of what's happening with 5G. There's lots of work on a new standard called 11AX. And you're seeing lots of, in fact, announcements and products being, at least early products being deployed here and demonstrated here. So that's one thing. But more importantly, coming back to the traditional next generation hotspot work that WA does, at this venue, we in fact have a next generation hotspot environment where we are for the first time connecting not only the carriers who are ready to support NGH or next generation hotspot commercially, but also beyond this venue where in the city of Barcelona, the city has Wi-Fi network. That network is in fact now integrated with this FIRA network, also the airport, and all that is producing some very interesting insights as to how people are moving in this venue, how the usage patterns are evolving. So that's pretty exciting. So we are seeing a very large-scale NGH live deployment in action here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of that data after the conference.
Absolutely. In fact, it's available right now. If you go to the Cisco booth, there's a panel there that shows live data as to what's happening around not just people connecting, where they're moving. This is, of course, all anonymized, so this is nothing to do with identifying people. It's just about identifying patterns. Okay. So it's all there.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Well, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm Kelsey Zeiser with Light Reading for OrbTV.